Hola, bienvenidos. Good afternoon, good evening. This is Abelardo de la Peña Jr., Director of Marketing and Communications with La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, welcoming you to tonight's edition of En Casa con La Plaza, a special Friday. Every other week, every other month, or every other week, we have Dan Guerrero Happy Hour. Before we get started, La Plaza, we've been doing this since April of 2020, when we first got into the lockdown, and now we're finally moving out of the lockdown because people are getting vaccinated and taking care of themselves. Let's keep it up. Get vaccinated if you haven't done so. All right, if you've joined us on Zoom, and I see a few of you have, please use the chat feature to let us know where you're viewing from. Do shout outs, ask questions. You could also use the Q&A feature on Zoom. You could ask us during, but we'll take the questions later on after the conversation. If you joined us on Facebook, welcome as well. Let us know where you're viewing from. Ask questions, make comments in the comment section there, and I'll pass them over to our host. Before we get started, let's a few updates. La Plaza is open. La Plaza de Cultura y Artes at 501 North Main Street is open from Thursdays through Sundays. We're still covering all the COVID protocols, so wear a face mask, social distancing, and so on. You could check our website at lapca.org to make reservations, or you could take a chance and get on standby. We may be able to fit you in, but we're open and we're happy to see all of you coming back to La Plaza. Our exhibition, Only Light Can Do That, by Patrick Martinez. It's a neon art installation covering the windows on Main Street. You could pass by day or night and you're going to be astounded. So you don't even have to come into the museum, but we prefer that you do. But check it out. It'll be on exhibit till September 5th. And finally, we're scheduling our public programs, our outdoor programs there at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes. If you go on our Facebook page at La Plaza LA, you'll see the beginning of a modest schedule for the rest of the year, but we're bringing back Summer of Salsa. We're bringing back some great documentaries, and Family Days, of course, our wonderful family days. So please check it out at lapca.org, and of course, En Casa con La Plaza continues. All right, well, we're celebrating something great here today, and it's our 1-year anniversary of Dan Guerrero Happy Hour. So let's bring up Dan Guerrero.
A year. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I'm still trying to figure out if I even want to do the damn thing. Then here we are. You know, too late. It's so funny because when you emailed me, I was shocked. I thought we'd probably, I don't know what I thought, but I was just really, really surprised. And but how about the guests we've had? How about the guests?
There's been some fantastic guests that we've had.
I happen to have them here.
Let's hear them.
I decided I wanted to thank them each and every one. It'll be quick. Don't panic. Alphabetical order, because I know all about billing and artists. Okay, so alphabetical order. Lalo Alcaraz, Lucy Arnaz, Perla Batalla, Vicky Carr, Charo, Eduardo Diaz, Evelina Fernandez, Alicia Gaspar de Alba, Marga Gomez, Nicolas Gonzalez, Susana Guzman, Bel Hernandez, Dolores Huerta, La Marisol, Josefina Lopez, Cheech, Alberto Mendoza, Richard Montoya, my first guinea pig guest, Gregory Nava, Edward James Olmos, Luis Perez, Oscar Quintero, aka Quesadilla, Linda Ronstadt, Luis Valdez, Jose Luis Valenzuela. That's pretty cool. Now, tell me I don't have a great phone book.
No, you have a fantastic phone book contact list on your iPhone. We don't use Rolodexes nowadays.
I miss my Rolodex. Turn that thing, you know. But really, thank you to people who've been Zooming in and Facebooking in. And if they miss it, they can always go to the website, and it's on YouTube. They're archived forever. And that, to me, is the most wonderful thing, because the show, I like to think, is fun and casual and informal. But there's some incredible storytelling coming on, coming on each guest with their own stories that have you know, I still can't get over Eddie Olmos, the audition story for Pachuco in Zoot Suit. That to me, and I've known him forever. I had never heard that story. So the stories are really important. And if we don't tell our stories as Latinos, who's going to do it? So
You're
anyway,
exactly right. Thank you so much, Dan. And I just got a shout out to you for hanging in there with En Casa con La Plaza for this whole year, and
I
then also
love
for
La Plaza.
the preparation that you put into these conversations, these happy hour conversations with these wonderful guests is incredible. A lot of back work to make sure that our audiences are entertained, but especially our guests. They come away, like you said, with Eddie almost. This was probably his most fun interview, and we've had quite a few of the guests that you've had on say the same thing, and we really appreciate that.
No, thank you. I am happy. One of my favorites was Lucy Arnaz, who's probably been interviewed more than anyone. She said it was one of the best ever, that she enjoyed it. So, but it's the whole ambiance, and it's La Plaza. You know, I'm a fan. There's my second home, LATC and La Plaza. That's my downtown home base. Anyway, enough kissing ourselves. Let's get to our guest tonight. Or we could keep on talking and bring him back next week, you know, like Kimmel does with Matt Damon. All right, I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, bye-bye, Dan.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. Starting our second year, zooming in, I guess. I don't know what the hell you call it anymore. Tonight's guest, I think, has one of the hardest gigs within our business. And I really mean that. He is a stand-up. That is hard, man. Yes, like many stand-ups, he's an actor. So he does TV series and talk shows and, you know, films. He's got a new one with Mark Wahlberg coming up. But still, basically, he's someone who goes out on stage alone, stands in front of a mic, and faces all these people who are sitting there going, make me laugh. Now, that being said, the gift of being able to make someone laugh is one of the greatest. So let's find out about the yin and the yang of this very difficult gig, and welcome our guest tonight, Rude Dog, AKA Rudy Moreno. Zoom in, there he is.
Hey, what do you say?
How are you, man? Too late, we know you wear glasses, too late.
What, I can't see now, man.
See,
hey, congratulations.
You take off the glasses and then you zoom.
And yes, then I zoom. Then I do the Tom Jones thing.
Yeah.
How are you, Danny? Good to see you.
I'm good. Thank you so much for doing this. We go back a long way, huh?
Maybe about 30 years or so.
God, yeah. Where does the time go? Where does the time go? But first, before we get into the whole thing here, tell me about Rude Dog. I mean, the Rude I get from Rudy, but Dog, where does this nickname?
Well, it was just a nickname. Most guys named Rudy are called Rude Dog anyway.
Really?
Yeah. So, you know, if you have any other friends named Rudy, you can just call him Rude Dog. So.
I had an Uncle Rudy. We used to call him Lofo. I don't know why, but he was Uncle Lofo. Yeah, but was that it?
Yeah.
Oh, see how
you don't call him Bofo. If you call him Bofo, that's going to be another thing altogether, man. So.
Well, we did, but never to his face.
Right. Hey, congratulations. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but congratulations on a year doing this. This is fantastic. It's amazing. And I'm so honored to be here with that list of people you just read. Man.
Right.
It's amazing.
Right.
Oh my God.
How lucky am I to have friends like that who come on and want to chit chat and tell their stories. And you know why I love it too, Rudy? Because most of the time, you know, you'll get maybe 10 minutes on the show, or they interview you in a segment, but to sit very casually, informally talking, you know, like a couple of friends over a drink. I'm very happy with it. So thank you for joining this mob. So now let's talk about this. I do think stand-up is so hard. And you know what, Rudy? It's not just the time out there. But back in the 90s when I was producing for Paul Rodriguez, and we had a lot of stand-ups, and I'd want to see somebody, oh yeah, come to the Comedy Store. I'm on between midnight and 2 a.m.
Right.
And I'm like, really? And there I go, like a good producer. There'd be a line of 15, 20, mostly guys, almost all guys at that time, waiting to maybe get 8 minutes to a crowd that's plastered. That's hard, man. Yeah. That's hard.
Yeah, and there's maybe 3 people in the audience, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, it's rough when you start, when at the very beginning, it's that's paying your dues, you know. You got to do that. And it's not even a thing of how funny you are. You just got to have to be seen. And once you're seen and people know that what you have and that you're good at your craft, then they'll give you some time. But yeah, you got to stand in line, man, like everybody else. You know, if you say, hey, I know Paul Rodriguez, well, good for you. Stand in line. So
yeah, nice. Get in the back of the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but your career's actually, and by the way, you've been doing it more than 25 years, so obviously you've solved that problem. But you started really your comedy career quite late, because for a good many years you were just a normal fella before you became an abnormal comic. You were married. I think you had a kid. You worked at the gas company.
Right.
That must have been a lot of laughs.
Oh, that was hilarious. Yeah. No, I started at 32 or 33 years old, and it was really kind of strange because, like you said, I was working 9 to 5, and I had a family and I had children, and I didn't want to do that job at the gas company, but as soon as I got the opening to do this, the opportunity, I let that thing go, man. I was like, and I talked to my wife. I said, look, I think I'm going to start doing stand-up comedy. Okay, if you can pay the bills. Well, we'll see how that goes.
God bless her, because a lot of women would say, I don't think so.
Exactly.
But were you funny around the gas company? I'm sure you were.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's why I got written up all the time. And yet, you're off for 2 days without pay, Mr. Funny Guy. Yeah, I've always been kind of a class clown, the typical story. In school, I was a class clown around the family at Christmas, at, the holidays. So it's just something that I did. Not knowing that I wanted to get into a career with that.
Well, but that came up in a rather unusual way with a musician friend of yours. What, you knew each other socially, and one day he said what?
Well, he was a local hero in our neighborhood, Rudy Salas. Actually, him and his brother Steve Salas. They were the Salas brothers, and they had formed Tierra, so they were neighborhood celebrities to us. Because they had already been on TV. So anybody that was on TV, for whatever reason, was a big celebrity. So, we kind of grew up together. We were about 10 years apart or so. And he, I would hang out with his younger brothers, and then he would see me and he'd go, hey man, you're funny, dude. You should be a comedian. I was thinking, 30 some odd years old already. I'm going to be doing that as a comedian. He says, once you open for the band, he said, I'll let you open for the band a couple of times. We'll give you some exposure and see how it goes. That was it. I got bit by that bug, and that's when I told my wife, I think I'm going to do the stand-up.
But how did you craft that first act? What did you just pull it out of the air because you had no real background?
No, actually, Rudy and I sat down in my garage and we wrote 5 minutes, and then I did 5 minutes of Richard Pryor stuff, and and so nobody else knew it. But then I come to find out that's the biggest no-no in stand-up is take somebody else's material, right? But it started off like that, and so every gig I would write something new and then develop the set, and it was great, man. It was I haven't stopped since. So it's been 30 years, and it was 30 years this April.
And how do you describe your comedy? Because of course there are comics that just do joke. Some are storytellers, some it's a mix. How do you describe your brand? And has it changed through the years as you've matured?
Absolutely. No, I have a material talking about now being old. But when
mature,
mature.
Mature.
Yes, Dan, I'm sorry. Mature, because I'm more mature. But I started off doing stuff about family. When I did when I was a kid, what my mother used to do, how she used to hit me with a chancla, and you try things that were a little relative to the Latino community because that's where I was working most of my stuff. And then it's developed into, being a husband, being a dad, then the comparisons, listening to my kids talk about hip hop music. And then it went on to, and they got a little political for a while, but then that's kind of touchy, So, but it's a mix mainly about family and growing up and, hanging out with the guys when you're young. And then when you're more mature, that things happen, and now medication and visits to the ER and, all that. So,
I know you did a whole bit after your heart attack. You did 10 minutes on your heart attack.
Yeah, that was always fun. And that's a thing. And as a comic, it's just you're constantly thinking of
Everything is game. Everything is game.
Everything. You know, the guy was putting me in the ambulance, and I was thinking, this is pretty cool. You know, okay, I've never been in an ambulance. Then you come up with a joke right here. So, you know, in the hospital, I was doing, and they're working on me, man. And they're, you know,
sure, you're going, oh, this will be hilarious at the
club.
No, I know. People not in the business don't understand that. Right. You know, like you can leave a funeral of your best friend, and you got a gig, and you go and you do the gig. I mean, it's just, it's hard for people to understand, but you just do, you know.
Right. Absolutely.
You are a veterano. You talked a little bit about that, about how you've changed within it. How about audiences? The audiences have changed so much. How have you adjusted? And especially in today's political climate, you're saying you didn't really care for that side, but and also the is there such a thing as a clean comic anymore? I mean, how have you moved within those trends?
Well, as far as the audience is concerned, I mean, an audience is basically just an audience. If you're good and you're funny, they're going to be entertained.
Yeah, funny is funny.
Yeah, and that's your job, is to entertain them. You know, you're not there to change the world. You're not there to, you know, talk about politics and everything else, because it's such, you know, it's such a controversial issue, right? So I find that it was more challenging to move from the Latino community to start crossing over into other realms, other audiences, you know, because if I went to Ohio, I couldn't be talking about chanclas and chicharrones, you know, and then the same thing when I'd go over to Florida and they have different Spanish terms.
Yeah.
You know, so learning all that is on the road. As far as political stuff, man, it was kind of rough during the last 4 years. And I think we all know why. Aside from the pandemic, there was another orange pandemic around that was affecting audiences and the separation and the hate and all these things that were going on. And it was really difficult to sometimes be in a room talking about something, and then somebody wouldn't like you because of the color of your skin. It had nothing to do with your humor or your talent or anything like that. Just, you know, hey man, you know, you don't belong here, or you shouldn't be up there. This kind of nonsense. So, and as far as clean comics, some exist. You know, there's a lot of that still exist, but there's a lot of young cats, and I'm not putting down the younger guys. I'm just saying a lot of young cats that that's their thing. They don't have the material. They're not clever about things, so they have to cuss and just be dirty about stuff, and that's kind of a turnout. Because there's guys that have worked really, really hard to write and perfect their craft. If someone comes along talking about MF this and, you know, the N word and all that, you gotta go, come on, man, you know.
And you have to learn to change on a dime, because obviously you get out there and within seconds you get the audience and what they're liking and what they're not. So you shift gears and you make a left here. Absolutely. And you drag this joke out that you remember. That it's really thinking on your feet constantly. You know.
Oh yeah, no doubt. You have to really think on your feet. You got to be quick. You know, otherwise the first time they notice that you're nervous or that you're intimidated or something like that, that's it. Forget it.
They smell blood.
Yeah, they do. Exactly.
That's what they come for. They're like friggin' gladiators.
Right?
Gladiators watching in the arena. You talked a little bit about being a funny kid. We have a great photo here, I think. Abelardo, do we have this? I love this photo. All you need is the mic in your hand. Look at that. You're doing a club act already.
Oh my God, yeah.
The only thing missing is the mic.
Yeah, that's about 1962 or so. That's my godfather, Mike Esparza. And that's quite a memory, man.
Tell me about that kid. We know he was funny, but who made you laugh? What TV comics made you laugh?
Well, you know, I grew up with, you know, all the old guys, man. I grew up with Jerry Lewis and Buddy Hackett and all that. But I used to watch the Sullivan Show all the time.
Sure.
And then I used to imitate. My mother used to imitate everybody in the neighborhood. You know, this is the way Senora Valdez talks, and she'd do that. So I started picking up things, and so I started imitating Jonathan Winters and started doing Ed Sullivan. So in school, my teachers would stop the class and, Rudy, come up here and do Ed Sullivan. So I'd be up there and I'd be, you know, doing the right here in our shoe, you know, doing all this. And the kids are cracking up. We never had homework, man, you know, because I was entertaining the class and I was 6, 7 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was always just a clown, you know what I mean? Just a show off. Most comics are just want the center of attention, so.
As you saw all those comics, and usually people go, I could do that, but didn't a little bell go off that none of those comics look like you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It was the era of the Jewish comic with the cigar, Alan King, all those guys, so growing up, it was like, well, I don't want to be like that. I can't relate to that, but I can be funny around here because I know it makes my tia laugh, or it makes the neighbor laugh, or my cousins, or people that look like me. So I would entertain them, and then
But today, luckily, little kids can see, little Latino kids can see funny brown people.
Oh yeah. No, I thought, and I'll tell you a quick story, Danny. When I was working out here in East LA, it was me, and I thought the other two Latino comics were George Lopez and Paul Rodriguez, and there was nobody else working on this side of town. When I say this side of town, I'm talking about the east side. So there was another comic that I met somewhere in a church gig or something. His name is Gilbert Esquivel. Gilbert Esquivel says, have you ever been to the Comedy Store? I said, I've never been to the Comedy Store. I've been there once, but that was years ago. He says, well, let's go over here and let's check out this Latino comedy night. So there's a Latino comedy night. I get there, and there was maybe 60 other Latino comics in there that I had never heard of, never seen, never knew about. And since then, the numbers have grown, of course, now even more throughout the Southwest, places like San Antonio, and even in Chicago and Arizona and Texas and all that. There's just a whole bunch of Latino comics, Latino comedians.
Well, I discovered that quite by accident early on in 1989.
Wow. Okay.
I know many claim to have invented the all Latino comedy night, but I beg to differ. If they did it prior to 1989, drop me a line. It happened actually because kind of Jose Luis Valenzuela, from the Los Angeles. I was casting for a few years there before I decided to do whatever it is I do. And Disney brought me on. They were casting a film, and they had this one part. They thought it would be a funny part for a young Latino comic. Okay. So they hired me to strictly look for a Latino comic all over the country. And I discovered all of the Willie Barcena and Culture Clash was still up in the Bay Area. Oh my God, I should remember them all now, but I don't. And there were so many. Now, I was on the board of the Latino Theater Company at LATC, and Jose Luis said, I think we should do a Dia de los Muertos. It's never done here in Los Angeles. And he was right. In 1989, there was no Dia de los Muertos, really. And I said, and he said, we'd have all the traditional stuff. I said, and I'm casting, and I found all these great young Latino comics. What if we have this juxtaposition of the traditional, and then you go into the theater and you have this hip comedy night, all Latino comics. And we did. And we called it Noche de Risa y Susto.
I remember
we did 4 this is the second one. I had Paul host it along with Cheech and Rita Moreno. That was 1990.
Wow.
But my favorite thing about that is that the audience had never sat and watched 2 hours of Latino comedy. Wow. They'd never seen it in their lives. Never mind that, but the comics were like hugging each other because they were always the only Latino in a night of comics. And here they were with all of them. It was really fantastic. It was a fundraiser for of the Latino Theater Company. And so there were a lot already. That was 1989 was the first one.
Wow.
And we did for 4 years. George Lopez did the second one.
Right.
Yeah. And he was just starting out at that time.
Right.
And my casting was the woman he married, Anne.
Anne.
She was working on that film.
Wow.
That's how I said, you want to help me out at this comedy night? She goes, yeah, sure. Dun, 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 dun. She and George eventually married. Well,
excellent.
There you go.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. We should all thank you for that.
Well, I guess so. No, but really, it was just all things that came together. But it was fantastic. As I say, on both sides, the audience seeing 8 funny Latino guys. I did have Marga Gomez and Monica Palacios, 2 females, and then a bunch of guys. But anyway, that's that whole story. Now, I know you've done a million TV gigs, and there's a difference, right? When you're doing TV, if you're doing stand-up on one of the many shows that you've done, or doing it live, you know, it's a whole other animal, isn't it?
Oh, please, yes. Yes, absolutely, man. Yeah, no, because you're kind of restricted. I mean, and you gotta look good for the camera. You can't be really, down and stuff. I mean, you gotta look sharp. You gotta look sharp. You gotta know what your stuff. You gotta know what you're doing. And as opposed to a live audience, you can always go off and start dealing with the crowd and making jokes that way, because that'll lead to something else and somebody else in the crowd, and then you go back to your material. But it's a big difference, man. And that's what I'm trying to tell the young comics,
I mean, that's true. Always actors in a play and the audience. It's a back and forth game, but especially doing either a solo show or doing stand up, it really they're your co-partners in crime. There,
right? Yeah,
they can raise you up or they can bury you in a second.
Please. That's the truth. And this is what I tell young comics. I say, look, man, you got to learn how to work clean, because you can't go on the Tonight Show. You can't go on Jimmy Kimmel and start talking like you're talking in here, man. You know what I mean? Because if this is the habit that you're going to start creating for your craft, and you're not going to go anywhere. You're going to be in this bar forever. So, you got to learn your stuff, man. You're going to do it.
Or adapt. You can do the other stuff. You know who the funniest I ever saw live, and I always loved her, always saw her on TV, and I saw her in a small club in New York, Phyllis Diller.
Oh, I love Phyllis Diller. Yeah.
Rudy, I am telling you, you had to keep yourself from laughing because you would miss 3 jokes.
Right.
She was like a machine gun. No long stories, and then the boom 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 ba bum, and you'd be. And then what did she say? What I had, and I'm saying it was a, I don't know, 40-minute act, 45-minute act. She didn't stop to breathe. I had never to this day laughed as much as I did with her that night live. It was spectacular. It was spectacular. You've opened for millions of people. We have a great photo of you here, I think, with Smokey. Smokey, come in, Smokey.
Come in, Smokey. Yeah.
Smokey Robinson.
Smokey.
And you've headlined in Vegas. We've got proof of that too.
Oh, you did your homework, man.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So you've done it all. You've the Ice House in Pasadena is your second home, but you've moved on. I mean, you still do that, but you've added, I should say, where you produce comedy nights, right? And you MC, and that's a whole other ball game too, as well.
Right.
You enjoy doing that as much because you still do your little shtick too, right?
Yeah, I do that. It's just, I think the thing behind that was to start giving guys work, because there was a lot of guys that weren't working in the club and stuff, and especially a place like the Ice House, which is an A club, which is the oldest club in the country. So some of these guys were really working hard, and they were doing little gigs here and there and fundraisers and all that, and they've never been to a club. So my whole intent was to get them into a club to be seen and to see how they can work in a club atmosphere. And then from there, they would move on to other clubs and then go on the road and stuff. But I love doing that. Discovered a lot of new talent. There was a kid that's.
And you do a lot of mentoring, which is wonderful that you do mentor young people. Who should we be looking out for? Especially women. There's more women now, but it's still scant few compared to male.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, there was a kid that came around to me. He was 19 years old. His name was Gabriel Iglesias. This guy's a multi-platinum recording artist and a millionaire, and he goes around the world. It wasn't that long ago he was at my house eating everything. So but I'm very proud of him. And then there's a number of guys, Dr. Ken Jeong, who was on The Masked Singer, and there's several people, Sherry Shepard. I'm not dropping all these names, but a lot of people that we started that came into my rooms that I had. I was over at the Commerce Casino for a number of years as well. And, a lot of talent went by there, and they've just blown up. They've gone on to fame and fortune, and I'm very proud of that.
I want to back up a little bit to being a Latino comic. Do you feel that people are expecting and you need to serve them tortilla jokes and lowrider jokes, or have we gone past that, I hope? Or how?
We have certainly gone past that, because talk about getting pigeonholed, man, and the club owners sometimes in out of state, out of California, would expect you to do that,
Yeah, yeah.
One time this guy told me, and this is the honest truth, he told me, can you be more vato? I said, I'm sorry? He says, can you talk like Cheech? Can you, hey man,
Yeah.
Really? No, I can't. So, I can do it, but I'm not going to do that, man, and that's a very important thing. And especially if you're going to cross over, because if you want to just stay in the Latino community as doing jokes for just thinking that's all you have to do to be in the Latino community, you're wrong, because we have a lot of educated, smart people in the community that would like to hear about other things.
Sure.
Sure. And especially if you're going to other parts of the country to perform, your last name may be Latino, but and you're Latino, because I know I don't look Swedish, So when I get up on stage, I want to make you laugh. I don't care where you think I come from or what color I am. My job is to make you laugh. That's it. End of story.
It's just like the actor or actress who keeps getting offered, maid roles or,
Right.
but we know that story too well. I want to give you a shameless plug because I think you're doing, aren't you, as we speak, Hot and Spicy at the Q? Is that
Look at this. Yeah, yes. This is as hot and spicy as you can get at this age.
The Q being the French Quarter Creole Bar and Grill in Bellflower.
Yes, sir. That's it. We just started there. We were there last night. Last night was our first show. We had a great turnout. We had a great show. I mean, the guys that I brought up there.
People weren't afraid to come out, masked, unmasked. They just
no, they were good. And we had a temperature gun and we had the whole thing. And people were socially distant. It was great. And it was the first time in a year and a half, Danny, that we were able to get on stage, man.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that worked.
And you're doing Thursday nights, I think, aren't you doing?
Thursday nights, yeah. We're doing that. It's a weekly thing. I don't go on the road anymore, man. That's a young man's game.
And what's funny about that? Because you don't want to, I used to travel a lot and I tell people, they go, you could still do it. And I said, I'm not saying I can't do it.
Right.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. That's a difference there.
Let me take off my shoes and I got to bend over and pick them up. Come on, man. I can't be doing that.
My chanclas? I don't want to reach for my chanclas, for God's sake.
And who knows what might happen when I bend over to pick them up. You know what I mean? So we don't want that.
Now you like I said in the beginning, you also are an actor too, of course. You have lots of TV series. One of my favorites, I think we have here. I love that show.
Yeah, it was great. Oh, that was a fun time, and I had so much fun on that show.
And you just finished a film. You wrapped a film, or with Mark Wahlberg. What's that about? Tell us about that.
The film is called Stew. It's Mark Wahlberg and Mel Gibson.
Oh,
and a couple other people. I don't remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a fun thing to do. That we just filmed that about 2 months ago, so it should be out.
Did you film it here in LA?
Yes, filmed it in Pasadena actually. So
now, also I saw a lot of photos of you with a mean guitar. I know you had a garage band as a kid. I love this photo. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
So wait a minute. So now you're doing, because Abelardo mentioned he knew a band that you play with. Do you play regularly when you're not doing the other gigs, or do them all at the same time? Or
do them all at the same time. And I juggle. No, I don't juggle. This is my band called Voodoo Syndicate. We're a classic rock band. We started about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's just a funny thing. I got this house here in Monterey Park, and my neighbor, I already had a band with some other guys, but then I moved into this house, and my neighbor, I could hear him playing guitar next door, and I was like, hey man, so I said, you want to start a group or something, horsing around? And he says, yeah. So we started, and we've been playing everywhere. We've been doing that. So that's kind of a dream of mine, was to be a musician, a rock and roll guy.
That's fantastic to be able, that's the great thing. You don't have to just do one thing anymore. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's what Steve and Rudy Salas of Tierra. And those are my brothers, man. So and
you're still close. You're still close to the guys.
Oh yeah. Well, Rudy, unfortunately, Rudy passed away last year.
Not recently.
Yeah. So, but Steve is still around, and the band is planning to continue doing things. But if it wasn't for those guys, I don't think I'd be doing this.
You'd still be at the gas company.
I'd still be at the gas company.
You'd still be hilarious at the water cooler. Do they still have water coolers?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah, that was, oh God, I just disliked that job.
We talked about your mentoring, which you do with so many young people, and also you do so much fundraising. You use your comedy talents and your contacts to do to help so many important causes. Are there a couple that are particularly near and dear to your heart?
Yeah, well, the American Cancer Society. My mother had ovarian cancer when I was a kid. The Arthritis Foundation, because my wife suffers from arthritis, both osteo and rheumatoid, and also the American Heart Association, because something happened to me. So you know, and then this thing, this comedy thing is such a good vehicle to use to raise funds for charity, and we've done so many charitable things, and not only me, but all the guys that I work with. I mean, the comedians. I mean, we do a lot of charity work that people aren't aware of. You know, they're just, you know, just feel that we just tell jokes in bars or in clubs, and that's all we do. But no, we do a lot of work like that. So.
And you've been married how many years?
Ooh, let me see. Well, we've been married 31 years, but we've been together 40 years. It'll be 40 years, June 12th.
And you have grandkids and the whole enchilada.
Yeah, I have 2 grandkids. I had a grandson that just graduated from USC in preventive health, so medical field, and then I have a granddaughter that's going into her senior year. Gee, how old am I? But you know, it's I've been blessed. I've been very blessed.
Does your wife think you're funny?
No.
They never knew.
She does.
No, you know what? Many times it's like, you know why? Because they've seen your act. You know, like, I've seen that act. You know,
they've seen me. They see you every day. You're not funny. Right?
They just see. Do your grandkids call you Tata? What do they call you?
No, they just call me Grandpa. Yeah.
Oh.
They might call me something else, but you know, when they can't.
I'm sure they do.
When they can't get any money.
Anything else you want to plug besides because we're going to go to some Q&A here. We have people writing in from San Antonio, all kinds of stuff here. Someone wrote here, tell them about the toy drive. That's an incredible cause, somebody wrote.
Oh, okay. Well, let me tell you real quick about that. This is going to be our 30th year, Danny. This is going to be our 30th year. It's called Comics for Kids. Okay. And what we do is we get toys and money, and we give them to underprivileged kids in our East Los Angeles and surrounding areas. And we've been doing it for 30 years. And we've had everybody from Lopez, Paul Rodriguez, Gabriel Iglesias, everybody and anybody who is in the comedy field or even musically have come by to help us and donate their time. And we've worked everywhere, and wherever they let us do it, we'll do it. This is our 30th year and probably our last year.
Wow.
But yeah, we're having a big to-do on December 19th over at Stevens Steakhouse, the entertainment mecca of Los Angeles.
So this last year must have been particularly difficult to try. And what did you do this last year?
We had a drive-through toy drive. So we were at a local church, and they have a big big parking lot. So we put some boxes outside, and people would come by and drop off. We had to wipe them down, of course, and the whole thing. But they would drop off toys, and we did. Over the years, it's over 100 and some thousands of toys that we've given away to Padres Contra Cancer, the American Red Cross, Maravilla Housing Project. The list goes on and on. There's about 40 agencies that we've given to over the years. So it's one of our really close things that we do every year. And now I got my kids involved in it about 10 years ago, and now I got my grandkids involved in it. So hopefully they'll carry the torch to do that.
Yeah,
I'm mature and tired.
So, comics don't retire, right? Show folk don't retire.
No, we just turn to dust.
I say don't retire. One day we just drop like a rock and move on. And move on.
Right.
Rudy, thank you so much. I've enjoyed this. I hope you did too.
Oh, I loved it, Dan. It's always good to see you. Always a pleasure. And Abelardo and the people at the Plaza, thank you for having me. Quite an honor. Anytime.
Abelardo, anything, because you mentioned a band you knew, but I thought it was a different band.
Oh no, we've had Rudy. He emceed a couple years ago when we had our Los Pobladores Award, and we honored Cheech Marin and the Getty, and Rudy was our MC. That was a pretty good gig. And then you also you opened for we of course we have our film series every summer, and your band, the Voodoo Syndicate,
Yes.
I believe, opened up, and you guys tore down the place, man.
Oh, thanks, man. We had a good time. Yeah, we had a
Because
blast.
you play a mean guitar and you sing.
Pues luego, yeah, yeah.
And you look like Tom Jones,
and I look like Tom Jones
today.
Today, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we have a question.
I gotta
here
go get
from,
the sideburns, man. I'm sorry.
No, we have a question here sent in earlier by N. Garduno. Rudy, I've heard your recorded material. I've attended your shows. Do you get your inspiration for your material from real life situations, like the bits you've done about visiting Chicago when it's cold, and New Mexico and it's green chili on everything, even jelly? They're really good. So tell us about.
Well, no, it wasn't New Mexico. It was actually San Antonio, because I go to San Antonio and they have, you guys have been to San Antonio, I'm sure.
I love San Antonio.
And the tortillas are this big, they look like English muffins, man, And I was asking, with every meal, they kept bringing me tortillas. So I ordered Jello and the guy brought me tortillas. And I go, hey, what is this, man? He goes, oh, did you want corn? No, I don't want corn. I don't want any tortillas at all, man. So, but yeah, it's usually things that have happened before, things that have gone on. Chicago freezing. But yeah, it's usually, I did a CD in 98, I think it was 1998, called No Looking Back. It's still available. But I talk about all that, all my things on the road. Yeah.
And I was checking out on online, and you have a special or a half hour on Amazon Prime, don't you?
Yes, I do. It's called Rude, RUDE.
But I had to pay for it, so I passed.
Yeah. Danny's got it. He'll pirate it too.
Yeah, very tight budget at La Plaza. Very tight budget.
Yes, I know.
And never mind that last week he announced that they just got $1 million, I don't know what grant.
Wow.
Yeah. But they can't go on Amazon for $10 each.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that money didn't come to me. All right. Well, we have quite a few people, like Dan was saying. We have Rachel Delgado from San Antonio.
Hey.
Right. Laura Kincaid, she's saying, that's impressive, all the work that you've done. She's coming in from Lincoln Heights.
Oh, that's my hometown.
Some guys from jail, James Blancarte.
Uh-oh.
From jail?
James Blancarte. You know Jim Blancarte.
Oh, yes. He should be in jail. No, I'm kidding. No, it's just a joke, Jim. Calm down. Just a joke.
I didn't say anything, Jimmy. Okay, it was this guy.
Ronald Lozano from Lincoln Heights, East, Hacienda Heights. So, and then over here on Facebook, we have Roberta Martinez with greetings from Pasadena.
Oh, hello,
we love Roberta. We love Roberta.
Linda Torres, felicidades from Phoenix, Arizona.
Wow, love Phoenix, man. Too hot sometimes. It's not Gordo friendly, man. You know what I mean?
Tucson, not
Phoenix.
Tucson.
Francisco Javier Sola coming in from Riverside, the future home of the Cheech.
Yes, the museum, man. Yes, the Cheech.
That's right. And Cynthia Pierce, hello from the Central Valley, and Sandy Romero saying hi.
Hey, Sandy.
And then from some guy who's coming in from La Plaza de Cultura said, Dan, you're just getting started. And I think that might be John Echeveste.
Oh,
say hi to
John.
John for me. Say hi to, last time I was in Arizona was with your dad, Danny.
Oh yeah,
years ago.
In Tucson or in Phoenix?
In Casa Grande.
Casa Grande. Wow.
We did a concert out there. Well, he did a concert out there, and I was the opening act. So.
Oh yeah.
That was one of my favorite times. I grew up listening to your dad's music because my parents would play it all the time. Yeah. And they had Lalo Guerrero. That's the big thing, man. It was the picture of JFK, the Virgin Mary, and Lalo Guerrero. That was on the walls there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you,
man.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great.
All right, we have Juliana Mojica. Hey, Rudy, great to see you on here.
Hey,
enjoy the conversation with you and Dan. And then they're asking, where are you booked in the near future? You talked about your gig there in Bellflower. What else is going on?
Well, we're waiting for the Ice House to open back up. You know, I've been at the Ice House for 22 years, but I'm hoping I get my job back. So, but I'm at Bellflower there, and then you can always see where I'm at online on Facebook. You know, I'm usually
I mean,
on
things
there
are
all the
just
time.
opening up, I'm sure, you
Yeah,
know,
just opening up. So,
barely. Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm usually here in California. I don't go on the road anymore, not because I can't. It's because I don't want to. I think that's what Danny says. So,
And do you have a website that people could check up on? You said you have
No.
Facebook.
yeah, they can check on Facebook.
How about
There's a fan page. I think he has a fan page,
I have
right?
a fan page, the Rudy Moreno fan page, and then they can just look at me regular on Rudy Moreno,
all right?
comedian Rudy Moreno. So,
Not the other Rudy Moreno.
what other Rudy Moreno? There's no other. There's no other.
And you also, for a while, Rudy, you were doing, before the pandemic, I know at the Ice House, you were doing these 6-week comedy classes at
Right.
At the Ice House.
Right.
Are you gonna?
Yeah, I plan to start doing things. Now, I was doing Zoom classes, comedy classes during the pandemic. So now we'll probably do them at the club again. Excuse me.
How do you teach? I'm sorry. How do you
No,
teach
go ahead. That was
people
my
to,
question.
how do you teach people to be funny? You can't teach somebody to be funny. I would think you could show them how to craft their act and but you can't somebody can't be funny if they ain't funny.
That's true, Danny. That's true. That's very true. But you can give them the tools. You know, you can tell them what to do and what not to do, and you know how to get booked, how not to get booked, how to get a manager, an agent, how to write a set, how to write a joke. You know, where to get the material from, because like we were discussing about, you know, all of my stuff is stuff that I have experienced, and that's funny stuff. And it's not like I can sit there and write something like that, you know. So that's what I teach in the class, and it's 6 weeks, and we have a graduation show, and their friends and family get to come and check them out. And
Oh, that's great.
a lot of them have gone on to be working comics.
That's
so.
great. That's great.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep doing those? You could keep doing those Zoom even though the pandemic's over.
Yeah, I can do that. I like to do it live though. It's a lot more fun to see these people on stage. Yeah,
True.
It's a lot more fun. Yeah,
True.
So hopefully,
but I'm thinking in places like LA, people are like, can't we just Zoom instead of driving, 45 minutes?
right.
That's going to really affect things.
Yeah, well, that happens, man. So maybe we can do it at the Plaza. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think I know somebody who works there, Rudy. So you could hook up with him. Hey, I have a question. What's been your favorite acting gig? I know I've seen you on Everybody Loves Raymond, of course on Mom. But what's been your favorite acting gig?
My favorite acting gig was a miniseries on NBC called Kingpin, and I played El Lomo. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was a few years ago. And it was with Yancy Arias and a few people, and it was a great series. It was good. It was on for a while, and then we got a lot of the watchdog groups who were talking, because it was a whole narco thing and all that. And
you played against type there. You weren't a funny guy, right?
No, not at all, not at all. No, I was a villain, so to say. So they killed everybody in my family. They killed me, and that was the end of that gig. So,
Interesting. That is your favorite gig.
Yeah, it was my favorite. I was, a lot of episodes, so it was cool. If you get a chance to check it out, it's called Kingpin.
All right.
And but I've done a lot of episodes with Mom was great, and Everybody Loves Raymond, and I did the ER and all these other shows. All the shows that I've been on are canceled. So I'm the kiss of death, man. So.
How about as an opening act? Who is your favorite headliner that you really bonded with?
I would say Smokey Robinson, because I've been a big Smokey Robinson fan since I was a kid, and I was just really surprised that they asked me to do that. So when I went back there and told him, I said, "Hello, Mr. Robinson." No, man, call me Smokey. All right, well, I'll call you Smokey. So he was very cool, very cool. And the other guy that I met while doing this is Cheech Marin, who was a huge influence, and I love Cheech, and it's always, and I always tell young comics, I said, look, when you meet a celebrity, the biggest ones are the nicest guys.
Oh yes, oh yes. You know why? Because they don't have to prove anything.
Right.
You know, they just do what they do. And you're right, Jimmy Smits,
worked with him,
Cheech, they couldn't be sweeter, nicer.
Right.
You know, so many of them. You're right. The bigger they are, usually they don't need the entourage of 75
Right.
people, all that crap.
Yeah,
You know,
that's true.
you know, but that's a different different era of people. They came up in a different way, and you know, it's very different today. Anyway, we don't want to get into, you know, young people today, they ain't got no respect. You know, we don't want to go there.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Like I said, I met Eddie almost like 24 times.
Oh, of course.
He doesn't remember me though.
No, but all, you know, those people, listen, we've all, you know, kind of come up at the, you know, together in ways our paths cross, and we know each other forever, and we may not go out and hang out and have pizza with them, but you know, they're family. All those people are family, you know.
Absolutely.
And those people we've mentioned have stayed close to the community always.
Right.
Always. Listen, I don't have time anymore, but I used to produce so many fundraisers, you know, like you do. We don't make money, you do it for the cause.
Right.
You call the same people, Eddie, hello, Jimmy, hello,
Right.
Cheech, because you need the names to get they'd always be there.
Right.
God bless them, you know. Yeah, they've stayed close to the community, and it's a very tight family here in LA, Latino Hollywood, and, you know, we all know each other, you know. And I see that in the young people too. I see them very supportive of each other. And that wasn't always true when there was really nothing, you know, and I don't know, they're just different. I see them being very supportive of each other. And hey, you know, I heard about this gig and I auditioned today. You'd be good for it. And
yeah, that happens a lot.
It's wonderful to see.
Yeah.
Wonderful to see. I think that's it.
I think we got it.
Okay.
Thank you. It's a wrap.
It's a
Okay.
wrap.
Thank you,
you,
guys.
Rudy. You know, I'm in
My pleasure.
Monterey Park all the time because I'm on the board at VPAM. So I'm going to ring your on the ELAC count. So I'm going to ring your doorbell and make
Anytime.
you reach for your chancla.
All right.
Thank
My
you,
door's always
Rudy.
open. Thank you, guys.
All
God
right,
bless you.
Love
Rudy,
you.
Dan,
Bye.
thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. You could go ahead and sign off. And I just got a few more housekeeping things to take care of here. Thank you, all of you, for joining in. Laura Kincaid, great session. Thank you. We agree. Linda Torres from Phoenix, Arizona as well. Thanks for joining in. Just a couple updates here. Of course, as I mentioned, La Plaza is open. You could come on by tomorrow, 12 to 4. You should try to make a reservation at lapca.org, and you'll be able to get in. We're open Thursdays through Fridays, Thursdays through Sundays, and I think around June 15th we'll be broadening our schedule. But a couple things here. We know, of course, in a couple weeks, the opening of a great movie. We talk about supporting each other in the entertainment industry. In the Heights. In the Heights, of course, the based on a Broadway play by Lin-Manuel Miranda. The film is coming out. And at La Plaza de Cultura y Artes, we are having a bit of a fundraiser. We bought out the house. We bought the house on Saturday, June 12th, at the Montebello AMC Theater. I'm dropping in the website here where you can purchase your tickets. It's very modestly priced, but you'll be in company with a lot of great people in support of La Plaza, in support of Latino entertainment. So check it out. In the Heights special La Plaza screening at the Montebello AMC on Saturday, June 12th at 1 p.m. So it's an early afternoon, and we may be hanging out after that. I think we're trying to arrange a place where we could all meet afterwards for a little food, a little drink. Now that we're getting over the lockdown, we want to get back and meet up with you. Check up on our website, lapca.org, for the other En Casa con La Plaza programs, including next week we have our cooking demonstration with Nixtamal with Marlene Aguilar, excuse me. So that's at 3 p.m. on Monday, June 7th, with our Director of Programming and Culinary Arts, Jimena Martin. And then on Wednesday, June 9th, a little bit on the serious side, learning from the lockdown, how educators were navigating through the pandemic, learning to work the internet, the Zoom, how the lockdown tested their teaching skills, made them adjust their expectations, and are compelling them to develop ideas that could outlast the pandemic. So that's next Wednesday, June 9th at 7 p.m. Thank you for joining us. If you didn't catch the entire program, if you'd like to watch it again, it'll be posted on our YouTube site at La Plaza LA, at La Plaza LA. Also, it'll live on our Facebook at La Plaza LA and our website, lapca.org. Thanks again to our sponsors, Kaiser Permanente and PepsiCo. Thank you to all of you for tuning in tonight. Great session. Dan brings it every other week, and he still hasn't told me what his next guest is in a couple weeks, but I think we're all going to be in for a big surprise. We're talking about In the Heights, so it might be somebody from that cast, but I'm not spilling any secrets. So thank you so much. Muchas gracias a todos. Nos vemos muy pronto. Hasta la próxima. Adiós.